Mom, what time will dinner be ready? What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival, and I had a lot of requests for a comms video, and so I wanted to do basically talking about equipment. You know, there's so many people online that have that's more knowledgeable than I am about comms, ham radios, and things like that. So I'm going to let those guys do that. I'm just going to talk about my idea of usage and what kind of systems I'm running. To help you, I'm going to show you know, some budget stuff and just some kind of general ideology of using these things for what my perceived use of them are. Okay, so ham radios, there's a lot of different styles. You know, if you want to look at a budget system, you can get the Baofeng UV5R. Yaesu has one for about $90. It's a little bit better ham radio. You know, and if you have the money, I would suggest getting that. But if you need to buy a bunch, you know, these things are, you know, 25, 50 bucks, depending on what features, accessories you get with it, what package deal you get with it. So the UV5R, a lot of ham radio guys do not like this radio because it's a cheap one. You know, the thing is about ham radio, it's really weird. You know how, you know, it's just, you know, people get kind of nerdy about it, kind of like anime and stuff like that. You know, just people get like kind of snobby about, you know, ham radio guys get snobby about ham radios. So this is, again, UV5R, and I'll put links to all this stuff below. So I don't think technically these things are, you know, you got to have a ham radio license to even key them, but you can use them by listening and stuff like that without a license. The thing about a license is, and I said this a while back and people are like, what do you mean? So to get your license, you have to comply with an FCC regulation that basically states that at any given point, you can allow the FCC to come in and view your ham radio equipment. And a lot of people are like, well, you know, I got a lot of feedback from ham radio guys saying, well, they don't have to look at equipment, they don't have to come to your house. Well, this is the thing. Do you really want to give the federal government any kind of reasoning where they can come into your house? You know, I'm not saying that they knock on the door and say, hey, bring your ham radio equipment outside. Maybe they show up with the FBI and they want to go peek around in your house. You know, I'm against giving them any kind of reasoning to be able to come into my house, you know, without a warrantless, like doing a warrantless search. So anyway, the reason why this radio versus something like this is you got to have a license is because obviously this can run on ham, has a removable antenna. Now you can use this on the same frequencies as you can this. So like I have this set up to use with this, if you'll see. So I'm hitting the midland, the little cheap push to talk, and it's picking up on here. I have them set to the same frequency, and you can do that, right? Now under emergency, you don't have to have a ham radio license. And again, go see, there's tons of channels dedicated completely to ham radio use. I suggest checking those out, right? Now, whenever I'm talking about a ham radio use, like for me, I don't care about talking to Billy in Oregon. If you ever listen to the ham radio channels, which you can do without a license, all you're going to hear is a bunch of guys talking about ham radios. You know what I mean? The thing is, these things they're not secure. You can't make them secure. And people will say, well, how do I get secure comms? Secure comms cost so much money. You guys complain about night vision, like you're not going to get secure comms. So that's the thing. You're not going to be talking to Billy in Oregon after apocalypse happens and you're, you know, thinking you're not going to be heard by everyone else. That's the benefit of having one of these, because you can listen to whatever's going on around you, and or anywhere you pick up on them. So you can scan and pick up things. So good for gathering intel as well. My idea is for small unit tactics. Me and a team of guys running with this, and we are using this for small unit tactics, you know. So the grid goes down, it's really not going to matter about what kind of ham radio license you have. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to show some accessories and some things. Now this is the typical antenna you get with it. It's short, stubby, you know, but there are better that, you know, can communicate better. These things will communicate for about 1 to 2 miles depending on line of sight. You know, if you're in the mountains, obviously you may, you know, have less, but I don't think that you really need to be that far apart. Or if you have a neighborhood defense force, these things are good. Have everybody set up on the same frequency. You can talk to one another. There's a guy, Glenn Tate, that wrote 299 Days, and he's got some flashcards called PAM Radio, and I'll put the link below too that you can get from him. And basically, it's like survival use of a ham radio, like prepper use, not trying to get a ham radio license. You can get mounting systems. So this will mount to my plate carrier. A longer, skinny antenna. I can wire, kind of weave up through my harness and stuff like that, keep it out of the way, and it helps with distance, So here are some, you've seen me use these before shooting. Earmore, these are very cheap. I have all types of ear pro. I've got MSA Sword and Peltor contacts. These things are about 80 bucks, and to me they work quite well, and you can use these with this. So they have cheap adapters for like 12 bucks, push to talks, 20 bucks, something like that, and it connects into this. I don't have that one with me right now. I have the one for my contact, but you can talk through this, So because it's kind of a simple wiring. Now with the contact, you actually need a NATO push to talk. So here's my Peltor contacts, and so you see this here goes into the Nexus U94A push to talk. Now this has to be a NATO one, it can't be a cheap one. This is about 100 bucks for this push to talk. Run this wiring down, clip it onto my vest, and all I have to do is push that, and this clips into the radio. So essentially I'm running my Peltor contacts, have this mounted here. I can use it to push to talk, and that plug goes into my radio. The thing about this is that if you try to use a cheap one on a Peltor contact, because it's not NATO, the audio will come through the microphone. You don't want that, right? So if you do have a Peltor contact, make sure you get a NATO, an actual, and you'll feel the weight of it versus a $12 cheap one that goes for the Earmore Opsman. So here is my other helmet. This is Earmore with the M30. It's the M32 with helmet mount system. So essentially it's set up just like the Peltor contacts does, but it's a cheap, I think it's the 80 bucks for these two, so you can mount onto your helmet. You can use the cheap push to talk and it'll work just fine. So that's a cheap version of that. The other thing is that you can run these type systems with the Secret Service type. You run it in your ear. You've got the push to talk clipping into here on your jacket, and then this plugs into your Baofeng. And so that way you have if you're doing some kind of surveillance, reconnaissance or something like that, you can run a system like this versus wearing a complete kitted out system. So if somebody sees you, it doesn't look weird, I mean, you never know. Can't tell the future. That's why I say be prepared for any kind of situation. That's what Black Scout has been about. We're prepared for any kind of situation, no matter if it's survival, tactical, fighting, whatever it is. You don't know. So you don't know what's going to come, and it's better to be prepared for multiple situations than just singular, which I see a lot of people do. So having something like this is in your system, doing surveillance, things like that, it's a good thing. So again, guys, I think a crucial part of your system, small unit tactics, neighborhood defense force, early warning system. You have a guard gate set up at your neighborhood defense force, at the guard gate in the front of the neighborhood, and your, hey, bad guys, the boogeyman's coming, whatever. And good to have. You're running a small unit team, you're setting up an ambush, you can talk to each other and stuff like that. So great piece of kit, pretty low budget investment. I mean, unless you get the Peltor contacts, but the radios, and you can get the cheaper versions. But I'll put links to all this stuff below so you can purchase it. And anyhow, guys, leave any questions or comments down below, and I'll try to find some guys that know what they're talking about as far as ham radio usage, because you can set these up on, like I said, walkie-talkie frequency. So let's say not everybody has ham radios, you can run that those walkie-talkies, because almost everybody has those on the same frequency as well. They just won't pick up as far as these will. Anyhow, guys, leave your comments or questions below, and as always, thanks for watching Black Scout Survival.